Hey, it's Marlene. I was coming on to say hello and to give you an update of the past week. I'm a day late with uh, putting my video out, but yesterday was a total run hard day. I took my great grandson to daycare, and then I took his mother to her job, and it's in another city, so it was a long drive there and a long drive back. Then I had to come home and get ready and go to the dentist, and I was there for a while. I stopped at the grocery store. So yesterday was just an exhausting day after an exhausting week. When I updated last time, I told you all that we had gone for camping over the Father's Day weekend. Well, from there, every day was like busy, taking him to daycare, taking her to work, picking her up in the evening, picking him up, and it's just been go, 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 go. I don't know that I did much more than that this past week, but I've just been exhausted. He's, new living here for the weekends, and so he doesn't sleep very well, and he's up all hours of the night. And so when the child doesn't sleep very well, nobody else does either, which is just a fact of life. But I think he's getting better at sleeping. Last night, well, he wasn't here last night. He's gone for a couple weeks to his grandparents in Virginia. But the night before, he slept better than he had since he's been here. So hopefully, he's getting used to being here and getting used to the bed here, and not so many new things to play with, because he is a busy little feller. He's 7 years old, and he's 7. And when you're 70, that's a little wearing. But I love him to pieces, and I miss him already. Anyway, I think that's about all I've done this week. And today is pajama day. Pajamas and coffee. But I did just have a visit from my brother-in-law and his wife. My brother-in-law is my deceased husband's twin brother. And so they stop by now and then, and they come and got some slips off of the rose bushes. And my husband could stick a stick in the ground and grow it. I'm not like that at all, but they're just out of control. And my son-in-law has been coming trying to, prune them down and stuff and take care of them. Well, my husband's brother he can grow a garden for food, but with these roses, he's tried for 2 years to get a slip and make it grow. And today he filled up a couple bags full, so hopefully he can get some roses. And I know he loves these rose bushes. They're beautiful. They're very full, and they got the little roses, some of them. And then I've got a pink rose that was my husband's very favorite rose, and they get huge. And those are the ones that I take to the cemetery when they bloom. Right now there's not even a bud on there. I think it's just too hot. And I hope that, it's not going to die out. My dogwood tree did. I kept waiting for it to bloom and waiting for it to bloom. And I asked my son-in-law when he was cutting the grass, I said, do you reckon that dogwood's just dormant this year and it'll be back next year? He went over and looked at it, and he said it might be. And then he put his hand around the bottom of it, and it just picked up right out of the ground and was dead as a doornail. So he had to get rid of it. So that's an empty spot. That was another thing that was my husband's favorite things. His best friend had planted it when we first moved in this house. And it was just a small dagwood. I guess it may be a dwarf or something. It was never very big. It had got hit when we had a tree from the woods across the street fall into the yard. But it just cut like one side off of some of the branches. The other side was intact. And for 3 or 4 years, it was still blooming every year and doing good. But last year it didn't do as well. It did bloom, but not as well. And then this year it was just totally dead. I don't know if the winter was so bad or if it was just time to die. I think since it was my husband's favorite, I kind of think of it that he took it with him. Anyway, that's about all I have. I'm just sitting here now that they've left, and I got my cup of coffee, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to get this video out, and I'm going to probably, I don't know. I thought I might sew some today, but you know, that was early this morning when I first woke up, and kind of that urge went away, but it may come back because I really want to have a few things I want to try. I've been watching some YouTube videos. I've made a few of the boxy bags, and I've given them to grandkids, and I thought I might make a few more. Then the other day I made a lanyard keychain with Mickey Mouse material for my grandson. So his birthday is next month, so I think he will, that's one of the things I'm going to give him. But I also am going to make another lanyard like that and make a clutch to go with it as well. So for that one, for one of my granddaughters. Anyway, I think that's it, and if I do get into making something, I may do a video on it. I don't have a very good setup. It's very crowded space. It's a good sized space, but it's kind of crowded because I have 3 sewing machines and a serger and a Cricut. So it takes up, plus the ironing station and the cutting table, so it's pretty packed. You know, I've sewed since I was a teenager. I took home ec. It was either middle school or the first year of high school, and I've kind of sewed ever since. I did have my grandmother's sewing machine, and it was an old Singer with a cabinet, and it was beautiful. But when we moved here from Florida, somehow it got lost in the move. I don't know what happened. So I've had regular sewing machines since then. But I always go back to the Singer. So right now I have 2 Singers and 2 off-brand sewing machines. One of them's in my sewing room and one's upstairs in the attic. And I figure that my granddaughter will probably be using that while she's here. And that's usually the one that I will take if I go to a sewing class. So that's about all I have this week, and I hope you all had a good week last week, and you have a good week coming up, and come back and tell me what's going on. And I will see you next week. You have a good one.